AITA for leaving my wife at the restaurant because of her prank. I have been married to my wife, 35F, for 10 years. We have 2 children, 8F and 5M. We've had good times and bad times in our relationship, but we have always managed to get through it together. Until last weekend, now I'm questioning everything. Lately, she has been watching way too many prank videos on YouTube. She finds them all very funny, so she started trying to play pranks on me and the kids. Most of them were harmless and funny until last weekend, when she took it too far. We celebrated our anniversary by going out to eat at a nice restaurant. She seemed absent for most of the evening, and I didn't pay attention. While she was waiting for our meal, she suddenly stood up and started screaming that I was choking her. She was holding her throat, tripping and falling to the ground, pretending to choke. Everyone in the restaurant turned to look at us. I was in shock and trying to figure out what was going on. A few people came over to try to help her, and I just stood there, unable to understand. Then she started laughing and said, "I'm kidding." I was mortified and so angry. The kids were crying, the other customers were staring at us, and the manager came over to see what was wrong. I couldn't believe she thought it was funny. I was so embarrassed and angry. Our kids were upset, the other customers were disgusted by what had happened, and the manager wanted to know what was going on. How could she have thought it was funny? I told her I had had enough and couldn't take any more pranks like this. I took the kids and left alone, leaving her at the restaurant. We went home. I packed a duffel bag for the kids and me and went to my brother's. She keeps calling and texting, saying I overreacted and that she was joking. I embarrassed her by leaving her there, and she thinks I owe her an apology. Our friends are divided. Some think I was right to leave, and others think I should have handled the situation differently. AITA for having absolutely nothing for house guests. My M27 brother, MM32, got married this weekend. His fiancée had a lot of family come to town for the wedding. Everyone has limited finances, so they were all staying with family that live here. My brother asked me to take in a few since everyone else was already really packed, and I live alone in a 2-bedroom condo I bought a few months ago. Previously, I lived with my parents, so I had no furniture other than what was in my bedroom, which is basically a dresser, a desk, a nightstand, and my bed. I'm also very limited on everything else, like linens, blankets, dinnerware, cups, etc. I also basically have no appliances except a fridge and stove. I know most people have more stuff, but I just don't have the need for it right now, so I figure why spend the money if I don't need those things right now, especially since I spent all my savings on the down payment for this place. So I'd rather just put my money aside and build up my savings again. Anyway, I told my brother people could stay in my place if they want, but they would need to provide whatever their guests will need because I have absolutely nothing. He just replied with a thumbs up and never asked any more questions. Later, he told me it would be his fiance's sister, husband, and their 2 kids staying with me. They were supposed to be here by mid-afternoon on Thursday. My brother and his fiancée showed up in the morning to drop off some stuff. They were mad when they saw my place and saw that I really had absolutely nothing. They thought I just meant I needed groceries, toiletries, and maybe some extra towels, blankets, and an air mattress. So that's all they brought. I thought saying I had absolutely nothing was pretty clear, though. They thought it was ridiculous for me to have basically nothing in my home after living here for almost 4 months. So me saying absolutely nothing should have just meant no food or toiletries. He does already think I'm childish, and this was just another point made about me needing to grow up and do better at adulting. So they thought I was in the wrong, since I put them on the spot with having to figure out other last-minute accommodations for her sister's family, since they didn't want them staying with me anymore. Her sister's family ended up just to stay with them. So my brother and his now wife didn't really get to be alone on their wedding night, since their place is small. AITA for being upset with my mom for how she handles finances and treats me. I, 19F, saved up for university and summer. I have only 1 month left until I leave, stayed home for the summer, and have been trying to be very careful with my money to not overspend at all before I go to university. But my funds are decent. I paid off some of my upcoming accommodation rent early to have more funds for finance. My mother would randomly ask me often how much money I had saved up, and I would find it really weird. When I asked her in return how much she had, she would dismiss the whole conversation, and she knew I was on a tight budget. But I hate depending on others, so I was still dipping into my summer fund. So I never asked her for money, All she gave me was $30 a week to use on groceries for the household to buy two, which she would still be iffy about and just give me $20. So I would add extra money to it, like $10 or $15. I never found a problem with that though. I just thought it a bit weird as it's for the house. Just me and her. So she wanted an exercise machine and I was like, oh, you should buy a treadmill. She agreed and said to put $60 towards it. $120 treadmill. I found a discount for like $16 off, so I only put $45 towards it. She was saying she had to save her money because she had little and couldn't spend anything. I was like, oh, sure. That same week, she spent about $300 on decor for the house, rugs, curtains, etc. Even spending a family member $100 plus that same week, as she said she would look bad if she didn't. I was just on the sofa behind her, and we had an argument as she talked bad about me to her friend and told me to myself, I was obviously upset because you'll talk bad about me to friends to paint me bad, but never reveal your side. When I was younger, I tried once, and she flipped out, so I just cut the phone. Anyway, she felt bad and tried to order some food. I was sitting behind her on the couch, and her banking app, which she always hides, was open. And all I'm going to say is, she could pay her rent straight for 6 months with that. I wasn't angry at all. I just felt like, oh. When I confronted her, she got angry and started yelling at me saying I should not depend on her for anything, which I don't. The only money I get from her is weekly groceries and whatever she feels like giving me. I already do household chores, washing dishes, cooking, and cleaning, and she washes dishes once a week and, crazily enough, makes things so hard for me when I clean. The new rug we got had to get a new brush for it, so I would hand pick the little crumbs out of it. This she had a problem with, as she had to move off the rug. Like, be happy someone is literally doing it for you. I genuinely pull my weight around this house. I never minded because I didn't want to be a burden. I just feel like it's crazy to treat your child that way. She completely flipped out and kept talking, and I just stayed quiet and locked myself in my room. But I just feel like the way she responded to me confronting her was an admission of guilt. I just feel like if I had a child who was actively trying to not use much money to go back to university, I would not be charging them amounts. I know I can literally pay as a mother. It's so petty. And please don't think I'm being an entitled brat. I was well alright with paying before, it's just that the things she does do not come from a place of poverty. And I use my own money to buy myself things not freeloading. I feel like the ugly stepsister without stepsisters. But if I'm being an entitled brat, please tell me nicely, of course. AITA for cutting off my in-laws over a secret Santa gift? Okay, so I'm back with another issue concerning my brother-in-law and now the rest of the family. And to follow up on the last post, we didn't give him our car, but did help him find a different used car, which leads into this current beef. Every year, my wife's family does a secret Santa for Christmas with a $150 spending limit. Last Christmas, my bill pulled my name out of the hat. I've drawn his name twice in the years I've been involved and always tried my best to give thoughtful, decent gifts. This past Christmas Day, I didn't get my gift from him because he said he forgot to order it on time. As consolation, he told me he ordered 2 nice pairs of sunglasses for me and they would be arriving soon. No big deal. I was a little disappointed at first, but held my tongue because it was Christmas and he said I would have them soon. Fast forward to this weekend. It's now August and I still hadn't received any gift from him. I was looking forward to the sunglasses initially, but honestly gave up on it after the first few weeks went by. So we're at dinner with the family when my wife mentioned this upcoming secret Santa and how her brother never gave me the sunglasses he promised. Everyone laughed and joked about how BIL is notorious for being late with his gifts. He absentmindedly said, "Oh yeah, my bad, I actually have your gift now, I just keep forgetting about it." He went to his backpack and brought back 1 pair of convenience store sunglasses that were absolutely used and dirty, like they had been at the bottom of his backpack for months. They had earwax on the tips, food crumbs all over them, and scratched lenses. Clearly, these were glasses he had been wearing for a while. I couldn't hide my disappointment when he handed them to me. The family has a tendency to baby him, and my MIL said, "Yay, now we're all caught up for this year's Secret Santa." I just handed the sunglasses back to my bill and calmly told him that I don't accept it. He was probably genuinely confused, but I couldn't take it anymore. Everyone acts like he's so helpless, and his irresponsibility is cute to some. And now, in front of everyone, here he is trying to pass off a pair of sunglasses he probably just happened to have on him as the gift he never ordered and lied about because he is a man-child. I told him that he should be ashamed for giving me this cheap trash. As a 30-plus-year-old man, this was the best you could do, after you had over 9 extra months to make good on your promise. Really? What's next? Noodles glued to construction paper? How about you give me your old socks while you're at it? Well, those were the magic words. The whole family, excluding my wife, started attacking me for being rude. It got heated, but in a nutshell, my Mill, Sil, and Fiel defended Beal, saying he's got a good heart, that it's an honor to get a personal gift like that from someone, it's like an heirloom, and that he doesn't have much money, so I should be grateful. I countered with letting them know they're enablers of his behavior, and their babying is the reason he's okay with being the way he is. They enable him to not keep a job or have money, or just to not learn how he a basic, functioning adult. It ended after about 5 minutes with my Sile and MIL crying about my horrible lies. My Fiel was silent but very angry. Not sure if it's because I made MIL cry or because what he knew I was saying was true. I then told the family I will not be participating in Secret Santa this year. I also told them that I think it's best we don't see each other for a while before I excused myself from the table and we left. It's absolutely not about the gift itself. It's about how immature and offensive my bill is and how everyone thinks it's okay. No wonder he can't hold a job. He has no critical social skills. Who in their right mind would give someone a gift that you've clearly been clearing out your orifices with? It's so disrespectful to me, especially after I've put in effort for your previous gifts, especially after I just helped you get a vehicle, especially after you had 9 months to keep your word to me. I feel that this family is just enabling him to continue to be irresponsible and grossly immature. My wife has slowly come to the same realization after the car incident, but she was quiet on this one, which is fine, because this issue was between him and I. However, my MIL and FIL are very upset and not speaking to me. Obviously, I love them and don't want things to stay this way, but I think it's best I take some space from them at this time. AITA, for needing space. And for what I said,